We all say it, nobody's perfect, but when it's our own mistake, those words suddenly feel heavier, don't they? In this episode, we'll talk about what truly happens when we stop hiding from our flaws, how accepting them can lead to deeper self awareness, healing, and real growth. Because perfection isn't the goal, honesty is, learning is, and being a better version of yourself is. Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of a series in self awareness with me, Marie Crisostomo, and today we will learn how to decode the fear of committing mistakes. Ever wonder why we're so afraid of making mistakes and how it feels like the end of the world sometimes? Well, psychologically, it starts early. As kids, we were rewarded when we got things right and punished or corrected when we got things wrong. Over time, our brains learned a pattern. Being right felt safe, being wrong brought pain. So we also learn by watching others. When we saw someone get scolded or laughed at for a mistake, a quiet voice inside said, I never want that to happen to me. And as we grew up, we started connecting our worth to our performance. So if people only seemed happy with us, awarded us when we succeeded, we began to believe that failing made us less lovable or less capable. Add to that a culture that celebrates success and hides failure. So it's no wonder we're scared to mess up. But here's the truth, that fear isn't part of who we are, it's something we learned. And if we learned it, that means we can unlearn it. But first, we need to learn to face the feelings that we have when we commit mistakes, like our discomfort. Why? When things go right, we feel in control, confident, and composed. But when things don't go as planned, that's when our real character shows up. Mistakes reveal how we respond, how we recover, and how we treat ourselves in the process. So, mistakes expose our patience, our pride, our resilience, our anger, our doubts, and our fears. They show us whether we're humble enough to learn, or are we too scared to face our own flaws? So, yes, mistakes reveal not the polished version of ourselves that we would like to show the world, but the real one that's still learning, still growing, still human. And when we do make a mistake, the first thing that shows up is shame. You know, it's that sinking feeling in your stomach that whispers, you should have known better. And as you start wondering what others might be thinking of you. Sometimes it turns into frustration, especially when we hold ourselves to a certain standard. We replay the moment in our heads with a countless what ifs and, how did this happen, as our attempt to rewrite what can't be changed. And underneath all of that, it's often fear. We fear being judged. We fear being rejected or seen as less capable. For some, it may be sadness, the quiet kind that comes from disappointing ourselves. But heads up, chin up. The real power begins when we stop running from those feelings and start listening to them, because mistakes don't just reveal our flaws, they reveal our response. They show whether we turn away in denial or lean in with the courage to learn, to feel, and to grow into something better. So, accepting and learning from our mistakes isn't just about growing up or becoming better, it runs deeper than that. It's the very foundation of self awareness. So, think about it. Every time we make a mistake, life hands us a mirror, sometimes gently, sometimes not so gently, and asks, who are you when things don't go your way? Do you get defensive? Do you shut down? Do you blame other people? Or are you the type to indignantly air your anger on social media? Or do you pause long enough to see what that mistake is trying to tell you? So, that's really where emotional intelligence starts. It's not about having all the right answers, it's about noticing what happens inside you when things don't go as planned. It's that Little sting of embarrassment, the rush of frustration, that fiery anger, maybe even fear. But instead of shoving those feelings away, sit with them for a bit. Try to understand them. Breathe in, breathe out, and slowly you learn to respond, not be reactive. Step back so that you can step forward with more awareness and a bit more kindness towards yourself and others. The truth is, every mistake gives us two choices. We can either repeat it or reflect on it. And honestly, reflection isn't always fun. It's quiet, it makes us uneasy, and it forces us to be real with ourselves. But that's where self awareness begins. That's how we grow, not just in what we know, but in who we are. So the next time someone calls your attention to a mistake you made, instead of getting frustrated, get curious. Ask yourself, have I been remiss? What behaviors led to this mistake? What triggered it? How is it making me feel at this moment? What can I learn from it? What would happen if I stopped asking, what if? And reframed it into, what is this moment trying to teach me? What lesson can I learn? Beyond the rewards, what can I look forward to as part of my personal growth? And when you change the ending to this specific story, when you change your questions, maybe, just maybe, instead of fear, you see mistakes as windows to learn to be better. So until then, I just want to remind you that mistakes are proof that you're trying, that you're growing, that you're human. Some will hurt, sure, but don't let them write your story for you. Let them guide you toward who you're meant to be. So take care of yourself and keep learning one mistake at a time.